And today I'd like to show you my electric bike conversion. This started out life as a Trek Navigator 200 from 2001, and I converted it to an electric bike. Some of the modifications I made are to the braking system. Changed out the regular hand brake to a 8-inch disc brake, and then in the rear didn't have the mounts for the discs, so I converted it and just got larger shoes for in the back, so I could stop this thing. All new tires, rims, tubes, all that kind of stuff, new handlebars, just to upgrade the bike. And then had a battery box made up at a tin shop, so I could have a place to store my batteries, and went to work at converting it over. So the first part of the conversion was finding what electric motor I wanted to go with, and that's I started searching on the internet and found Luna Cycle, and they were selling a kit with this Luna. They put their name brand on it, but it's actually a Cyclone 3000 watt electric motor. And the kit included this controller and all the hub change out and crank, including the sprocket on this side to get you started. I added the chain guard here because I realized I'd need something to keep my pant legs out of the chain, especially as fast as this thing moves, and just reuse the stock pedals. Another thing that I wanted was a daytime running light, so I've got these, found these on Amazon, both up front, and they've got 3 different modes, and they're really bright: on, dim, and blink. That's usually where I like to run it. And also included was a red for the rear, which does the same. Again, pretty bright. So that's my daytime running lights. For nighttime illumination, I added, here's the switch here, turn them on. Added, these are actually 2 DeWalt 20 volt handheld flashlights that I took apart, mounted them together. On the side of the frame in the front, I've added this this LED strip, along with the rear for red, and then they go around both sides so they can be seen from the rear. And then on the sides, where the blue ones come in, you can actually see those from the side. Lights up the bike pretty good. Here, I'll turn off the lights. That's my nighttime lighting system. One of the things I was really concerned about was security for the bike if I were to stop it somewhere. So what I did was converted the front handbrake to an electric park brake, and I'll show you that in working. Did it also for the rear. So here's, as you can see, the motor cranks, squeezes the brakes together, locks them up. Same for the rear. It's a little different system, but it works the same. Locks up the bike. Pretty hard to move this thing when the brakes are both locked up. Also, part of my security system is concealed on the bike is an old iPhone, which I use the GPS out of it, so that from my regular cell phone I can track the bike using the Find My Phone. That's the security system. Oh, and part of the security is also a locked key lock. Totally locks out everything on the bike, so it can't be powered in any way. Okay, in this next part of the video, I think we'll talk about, I guess we could call it the dashboard. Starting on the left side here, left handlebar, we've got my thumb throttle with the voltage display. You can see I'm running a 60 volt system. Lever for the air horn down here. Got my iPhone I use for 2 things. Music, of course, through a Bluetooth headset, so it's wireless. And then a rear camera. So I've got the rear camera mounted underneath my rack here. You can see the camera here, which then is wired to a Wi-Fi transmitter unit, which is mounted under the seat, and that sends a signal directly to my iPhone. To the right of that is my battery management system. They call it the Batman. And you get different displays on their miles per hour and your usage of your battery. And then over to next to that is my headlight switch, lighting control, speed control for the motor, and cruise control. And then of course next to that is the selector for the rear derailleur. Moving down on top of the battery box, I've got my power switch for my battery management system, my switch to lock and unlock my front electric park brake, got flashers, both front and rear. You can see the ones down there, and then my rear one here. And on the other side, I've got power switch for my Wi-Fi camera, for my rear park electric brake, and then of course this is my power switch ignition so I can lock it out. And then the very front up here is a master power, cuts the battery off completely. On this next part of the video, I want to talk about how I power my bike. As you can see, there's a large number of DeWalt batteries in here. There's two different, actually. There's a regular 20 volt 5 amp battery up here, and then along the bottom of it there's 5 DeWalt flex volt batteries. You might not be able to see it. There's one tucked down below there. First we'll talk about the standard 20 volt. I'm using that to power all my accessories. It powers my front and rear electric park brakes we talked about, nighttime lights, headlights, side lights, powers the flashers, powers the Wi-Fi unit and rear camera, and then also it powers my iPhone and the secondary iPhone that I have for my GPS. And the way that I do that is through this DeWalt battery adapter that has USB plugs on it. I just took it out, installed the board inside here. Now with regards to these flex volt batteries, they actually can be run in either a 20 volt or a 60 volt stage. I'm running them in the 60 volt stage. Each battery puts out 3 amps at 60 volts times 5. It gives you 60 volts at 15 amps. How that relates to speed on the bike. Top speed on the bike with the 200-pound rider is 36 miles an hour. Now, how long will that last? I usually get that question, and I don't know. I've never pushed it. Typically, I ride with pedal assist, and I get about 30 miles before I stop and recharge. The reason I decided to go with these DeWalt batteries is, well, first reason is I like the modular approach. One of these batteries fails, I just pull it out, get a new one, put it in, and then I've still got a system. If you buy the regular bike batteries, it comes in one big brick, and if something goes wrong within, you're kind of hosed. The other reason I like these is they offer a 3-year warranty from DeWalt. I don't know, that seems like a pretty good deal to me. And then third thing is these are the upgraded cells. They're not the 18650 cells within these batteries. It's the 2700 cell, I believe. So all those 3 reasons, I decided this would be the better way to go. I'm not going to talk a lot about these flex volt batteries. Actually on YouTube somebody just posted a very in-depth breakdown of these batteries, how they work, how they're wired internally, and how the switching works to get either the 20 or the 60 volts. The way I did it is I used their safety cap, and then I talked about this earlier, this USB block that they make for charging accessories. And the reason you need this is you need this pin block out of it, because these pins will connect here to the battery where you need to get your power from. Now, the other reason that you want to go with this is that it locks onto the battery. It clips in and locks. It won't come out until you release it. So by modifying this and taking this pin block and with the use of a Dremel tool, grind this out and set your pin block in here, and then run the wires out the back, and I'll show you a completed version of that. Now the other reason that you want to use this safety cap is these pins here. There's one on each side. They engage into these slots here where you see the black plastic. That's actually a 3-position switch. So in the out mode without the cap on there, the battery is in the 20 volt stage. With the cap on, it turns the battery off so that it's safe for travel, especially on an airplane. These things put out a lot of power, and They don't allow them on an airplane unless you can turn them off. So by modifying these pins and extending them out, you can put this battery into 60 volt mode. The other thing that you have to do to get it into 60 volt mode is to connect two of these pins together. The YouTube video addresses that, so I won't go into that. So what I'm going to do is show you my completed version. And basically what I did was extended these pins out, ground this out, was able to get and ground down this pin block, and then got it to sit inside here so that it would make connection on the battery and lock into place. Now I've got the wires running out the back, as you'll see. Okay, finally I want to talk a little bit about how I charge these batteries. Typically I start out on the DeWalt charger and then get probably a good 75% of the charge into the batteries. Then I switch them over to this IMAX, it's made by SkyRC, balanced charger. And the reason I do that is because it allows access to the individual cell packs, and you can monitor how they're charging and what level they're charging at. And I'll show you that here in a second. One thing I want to kind of address is the pins on top of the battery. So if you can see, starting from the left, this is your positive, and jump over to your right, this is your negative. And then you've got two rows of pins. There's 6 pins total here. Now the top one is your, it actually gives your charger the temperature of the battery, so it knows if it's overheating. And then below that you see it says ID, and what is on there is, I found, is the voltage of the battery. It must tell the charger what battery is on there. And then the next 4 pins, upper and lower, are the different cell packs. You can see it says C1, C2, C3, C4. By tapping into those, making your connection to those with the balanced charger, you can control how the battery is charged, which allows you to charge the individual cell packs. Now DeWalt's charger does that, but you never know what's happening within. So what I like to do, and I've modified this, another one of these USB deals. I'm using it mainly just for the pins. I've gutted it out, and I just slide this on here. So now I've made connection with my balanced charger to those pins I showed you, and getting into the charger. I'm in lithium ion. I'm right now set for 2.5 amps at 18 volts, showing you that it's a 5-cell system. And then it's checking the battery and it's ready to charge. And what you'll see is, in a second here, it's giving you the voltage of the battery. Now it's starting to put in the charge. You can see it's giving it 2.5 almost amps here. But the advantage is that you can hit this and now see the voltage of the different cell packs, and you know how they're charging. And then if you hit it again, it tells you the percentage of the battery that's full and the average cell pack voltage. And then if you hit it again, it goes back to telling you what you're charging at. And what I like to do is periodically check this and see how they're charging and make sure they're charging evenly. If you go this button, it actually tells you the end voltage where this charger is going to take this cell pack, and you can see it's just over 20 volts. And that would be showing that it's a full 100% charged battery. Well, there you have it, a tour of my electric bike. Thanks for watching, and I look forward to reading your comments.